Oh,
Love that thumbnail.
I know. How cool is that thumbnail? What is going on, guys? Disney Dan here. Welcome back into the channel and welcome to episode, I'm going to say it, 50.
I forgot it was episode.
Wait, I haven't introduced you yet. Just quiet. Episode 50 of Disney Fiasco. What is up, everybody? I can't believe we are at episode 50. And conveniently, it's on May the 4th, which is like one of my favorite days of the year because we get to talk all about Star Wars. Again, I haven't introduced you yet. Firstly and foremostly, I need to give a big welcome to my good friend, Rob Fuzz, who did a humongous hosting, just the biggest pub talk yesterday with like 18 people. If you have not checked out Pub Talk yesterday, I was on it. This other guy was on it, who I'll introduce in a second. Plenty of other people, but Rob, it's good to have you on Fiasco, and yesterday was so awesome.
Thanks, buddy. I'm sorry, I got excited. Congratulations on 50 Disney Fiasco episodes, and thank you guys for coming last night. We had a blast. It was so much fun, and may the 4th be with you guys. Thank you so much for having us on, and congratulations again. 50 episodes. That is awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And my English brother, although he's from the north, you know him, you love him. He is Adam from Adam's Land. It's good to have you back, buddy.
Can I talk now? Thank you, Dan.
Good to see you, pal.
It's good to see you. Thank you for having me on.
And also, if you haven't checked out Adam's channel, he just posted a really awesome video yesterday, which was just so much fun. So please, guys, go check it out. And yeah, let's see who's in the chat. Fun with the girls. Welcome into the stream. Disney Nerd Herders. Charlie, it's good to see you, pal. Noah, congratulations on the prize yesterday from Steve's World. You're the man. Welcome in, Noah. Arjon's, what can I say? The absolute legend. Arjon's, I believe you are with Resort TV 1 right now. So hi to Josh and Jenna as well. And happy birthday, Josh.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Josh.
All right, and guys, please go check out Resort TV 1 and Arjon's. Awesome friends of the channel. Steve's World, Mouse Talk, those guys are going to be going live straight after this for Sports Night, where they're going to be talking about, well, not sports. They're going to be talking about the best lightsaber battles from Star Wars in like coherence with fencing, which is kind of cool. I love that. Explosive Phoenix, welcome into the stream. Kate Atwood, Brandy and Dave, welcome in, Dave. Good to see you, pal. Pamela Hoffman, Samedia, welcome into the stream. Lots of people here. Samantha Lowe, Nick from Magical News Live, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you, pal. Good to see you in the stream. RV into Disney. Happy May the 4th, everybody. I won't be active in the chat, but I'm listening. Well, it's good to have you here anyway. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, guys, we're at 50, and we are going to be talking about Star Wars Day. Abby from Main Street and Mickey is here. Welcome into the stream. And also, before I get started, a big shout out to my partner channels, Mickey's Magic. Meg is an awesome, just amazing partner channel and a friend. She just reached 3,000 subscribers. Meg, you are absolutely awesome. And also, go check out Corey Fiasco as well. He's doing some great stuff over on his channel as well. Jonas Gainer Vlogs, welcome into the stream. Happy Star Wars Day. May the Force be with you. Well, may the Force be with you too. Gems World, a channel that I've got to know over this week. It's great to see you here. Welcome into the stream. Sorry it's so late for us in the UK. Donna Jaworski, the super mod, the Hall of Fame of mods. You are a wonderful friend, and it's good to have you here on this wonderful Saturday night. But we're going to be talking about Star Wars today. May the 4th. Everything and all Star Wars. Like, we're going to be talking about our best favorite moments of Star Wars. Now, if you've been following my channel for the last couple of months, we'll be doing our Star Wars Sundays every Sunday once a month with Walt from Mouse Talk, where we look at every Star Wars movie leading up to episode 9. Which is
so great. Definitely.
It's a lot of fun.
I love them. So
you hear me rant a lot.
So
Miguel Benitez, welcome into the stream, buddy. Good to see you. Jack Jones, happy Star Wars Day, buddy. But we're going to talk about our favorite Star Wars moments. Now, this is probably, I'm going to say it right now, one of the hardest lists I've ever had to make on Disney Fiasco. Because there is so much, like, we're taking 8 movies, discounting all the Clone Wars animated series, is all that out of contention, focusing on these 9 movies. or 8 movies, and fitting it into a list of 3 and lots of honorable mentions. So sit back, relax, and we are going to get started with our Star Wars best of Star Wars. And I'm going to come with the man of the hour, the media king right now, who's on everything this week.
My media blitz.
Media blitz, Mr. Rob Fuzz. When you think of Star Wars, what is like one of the scenes that just springs to mind?
Wow, you were right. This definitely was one of my hardest lists. And it's so funny because I literally just finished it before the stream, because literally I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and I just was racking my brain and everything. I think I said to Dan, I like all the scenes. He's like, well, you don't like all the scenes. I'm like, you're right. But it really warms my heart as a kid and growing up and seeing it and everything. I really love it. The first one I'm going to talk about, this is my top 3, we're saying, right? And I have a bunch of honorable mentions and everything. So I think this the first, I'd say 20 minutes of Return of the Jedi right off the bat. So
Nice.
Just blown away. You know, at that point, like I was saying last night too, I didn't really see the first movie in the theater. I went and saw Empire Strikes Back. Then by the time I was so pumped, Return of the Jedi comes out. And when it comes out, Luke's getting a C-3PO, R2-D2. You got, it was just incredible scene. When they're going over the pit and all that kind of stuff, and the way they just Jabba the Hutt, and of course, come on, when you're a kid, Princess Leia in the bikini, come on, how can you get better than that? You know, not to get too. It just the way it affected me, and I always remember it. And I always think of that scene as a kid seeing it, and it really warms my heart just to see that whole segment, and everything, and it just boom kicks off the movie. I love that scene. So that whole segment, that intro and everything. So that's gonna be my first pick. So
I love that scene, especially because it's kind of like a slow build up. You know, we had Luke, being like dark. He's not the same Luke from Empire Strikes Back. He's now a full on Jedi right now. He you don't really see anything till around 20 minutes into the movie, where you think he's about to get thrown into this pit, the Sarlacc pit. And then out of nowhere, R2 shoots that lightsaber out in the middle of the air, and he grabs it, and he has a green lightsaber. A green light. Like, that's just like, because all we knew from like the previous movies is either the good guys had blue lightsabers and the bad guys had red lightsabers. So to have a green light, that was like one of my favorite scenes from that movie. Just seeing that excitement, like, holy, like, he's got a green lightsaber. That's pretty darn. And he's cutting people left and right. And you got Leia choking out Jabba the Hutt in her bikini. Again, in her bikini. I mean, it's Princess Leia.
And earlier too, the Rancor monster too. I love those monsters and everything. They're so amazing.
The Rancor monster is pretty awesome. I love that. And also what I really loved about that scene was Luke didn't even use really any of the Force or anything. All he used was like his guts and his, he threw a stone at the panel to shut the gate on him. Like it was pretty cool. Like, I really love the opening to Return of the Jedi. So awesome pick, Rob. I absolutely loved it. Rosie Wren, welcome into the stream. And Chris from Disney World Adventures, thanks so much for joining us as well. Big shout out to Chris, who shouted out my channel before.
Oh, and then, by the way, like they save Han Solo too when he's coming out of that carbon chamber and everything. I forgot about that for a minute, but that too, you're worrying. It's like the cliffhanger from Empire. That was just amazing.
It's kind of like a small build up to this kind of big fight, because Lando's there. He's undercover. You have Chewbacca is in captivity by Jabba. Boba Fett is there. He's lurking around. Like, everything's gonna build up to this big fight right at the beginning of the movie, and it's all just going down. And I just think it's pretty awesome. Eye to eye, Disney through eyes. Kyle, welcome into the stream, buddy. Good to see you. But yeah, just that opening scene with Jabba, and actually, if you go, Jabba wasn't actually in Episode 4 in the original trilogy. It's only through the special editions. So this, thinking about it from the 70s and 80s, this was the first time seeing Jabba the Hutt, and that's it was pretty cool getting an idea of who this monster was. Dig Family Chronicles, welcome into the stream. Great to see you. May the 4th be with you too, Kyle. Good to see you, pal. Awesome pick, Rob. I absolutely love that opening scenes to Return of the Jedi. Adam,
Hello.
what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think Star Wars?
It's similar to Rob's actually, but it's not the opening to Return of the Jedi. Mine was the opening to The Force Awakens, and the reason being is, if I think back to when that film came out a couple of years ago, that for me personally was the most excited I'd been about any Star Wars release, because when I was a kid growing up, I didn't get into Star Wars until a little later in life. I wasn't massively hooked on it when I was a kid. And I kind of enjoyed it a little bit when the prequel movies came out. I was getting more into Star Wars as a whole saga then, but I wasn't still as hooked on it as I am now. So when The Force Awakens came out, for a long time, I thought, especially after the prequel movies kind of were panned and flopped a little bit in a lot of the fans' eyes, I never thought that this third trilogy would ever see the light of day. And when it finally did, just the excitement. And I remember going to the cinema when it was released, and literally the moment the opening sort of title track hit and you get the scrolling text, to introduce it, that's the most excited I've been about any Star Wars release. And I was sat there on the edge of my seat, just kind of absolutely gripped. So yeah, that for me, just the opening of Force Awakens was.
So it wasn't even like anything.
It wasn't a particular scene. No, it was just the start of the movie as overall. Yeah, I remember, I think for the first 10, 15 minutes, I just sat there with a massive smile on my face. So
it's literally seeing episode 7, The Force Awakens, and the crawl when you start.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm in that same boat. I grew up with the prequels. I remember seeing Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith in movie theaters. Hey, Patrick, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Just for the record, when Rob Fuzz puts that thumbnail up, all of us, PJ yelled, "There's Disney Dan first." You see?
Nice.
You see?
Celebrity.
Oh, look at that. With The Force Awakens, when I first saw the trailer of The Force Awakens, I was just like, it gave me goosebumps. I had shivers down my arms. I was like, this is not, Revenge of the Sith. This is not Attack of the Clones. This is Star Wars. This is what, everyone is comparing it to A New Hope, because it feels like Star Wars. We actually get a movie that is like Star Wars, and we're finally getting it back in 2015. And it was, this movie.
Yes, it wasn't CGI heavy, was it? Like
No.
like the prequel movies were overly CGI heavy. Some of which I didn't like. Some of which, some bits of which I did, and I'll touch on that later. But it wasn't overly CGI heavy. It went back to using, proper props and
actual sets. They went to Saudi Arabia to film for the Jakku planet, and they really actually went out of their comfort zone instead of putting green screens and blue screens everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was practical effects and real sets. Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Any day. If you're in the film industry, the movie industry, it's practicality, the sets, the props. That's what's real, right? You can generate stuff on a computer, but it's not real. Otherwise, you'll be interacting with a tennis ball and looking at a tennis, and it just doesn't work. So I agree, Adam. The first, that feeling, you went more for the feels rather than the actual scene, which I really like.
For this first pick, yes, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely more
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. My first one is pretty much goes with a character, and it goes with part of probably my favorite Star Wars movie of all time, Empire Strikes Back. And it's everything and anything that includes Yoda. I love Yoda, especially in The Empire Strikes Back, because this character, I'll tell you what, I'm not even kidding. This is one of the best characters in cinema. I think he is an absolutely brilliantly compelled character. You kind of know some of his backstory. He's this all-powerful Jedi. We hear about this all-powerful Jedi from Obi-Wan Kenobi. We have no idea who this all-powerful Jedi is going to be. Luke travels to Dagobah and he meets this little green elf thing that is all goofy and is battering R2 and whatever with his stick. And then we find out that actually he is the all-powerful Jedi Master, because when you think all-powerful, you think big, right? But no, it's not about the size. And everything that he teaches Luke is just so valuable to everything. Like, do or do not. There is no try. Like, it's not about, it's not about strength. It's about, the force around you, I think Yoda is just a brilliant character. I think he just is, just the way he, lifts that X-wing with the score, like duh, 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 duh. Like that is one of my favorite scores in Star Wars. And he's just every time I see him on screen for The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, I'm just fully in watching Yoda, and in The Last Jedi as well. So yeah,
I love that Frank Oz is the puppeteer for him too, which is amazing.
And I love the fact they kept it as a puppet. Like Yoda puppet is going back to our CGI thing, way better than the CGI boring Yoda. We want, funny, but also just charming and just wise Yoda. So that's my pick. Yoda from The Empire Strikes Back, when he was training Luke. His introduction's just everything Yoda.
Kay quoting, "Judge me by my size, do you?"
By my size, do you? Yeah. What do you guys think? Yoda?
Love Yoda, yeah, definitely. I had a little action figure as a kid, and it had a robe, like it was plastic figure, but the robe was like felt, and he had like a plastic snake around him, and I just loved playing with him. And as a kid, and I had a hand puppet too, like you say, the puppet. It was like a rubber puppet. It was pretty big. I used to love playing with him, and just you're right, amazing, really good.
Mike from Our Theme Life is here. Welcome in, buddy.
Mike?
Good to see you, pal. And Adam, Yoda.
I love Yoda, and yeah, I agree. It's funny because again, like I was going back to saying how when I grew up with the original Star Wars trilogy, I wasn't so much into it as a young kid, so I started to get more into it around the time that the prequels came out. So it's funny looking at the contrast between the two of them. But I'm totally with you. Like, that sort of, that more slowed down, sort of more thoughtful almost, but kind of crazy Yoda. I love that character. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, he's just a bit. It's very eccentric in a sense, but while very, obviously sticking to his principles and very thoughtful and mindful, but he's very kind of all the time. He's just this character that you just watching, you're just like, wow.
Actually, like when I was young, when I watched the Empire, like Empire was never my favorite as a kid, but only as an adult I grew to love Empire Strikes Back. And I always used to skip everything with Yoda because as a kid, I found it really boring. Like there was no lightsaber fights, there was nothing. I would skip to where Luke fights Vader in that kind of cave, and that'll be it, and then move on to the whole thing with Bespin and Darth Vader and Han and whatever. But only as an adult, I really got into Yoda's character and what Yoda is all about, and how how vital this character is in the franchise. And he's an awesome character. He really is. Hey, Carl's Vlog, welcome into the stream, buddy. Good to see you. Happy May the 4th. So I'm going to go with Yoda. Guys, please make sure we hit that like button and subscribe to not only my channel, but to Rob Fuzz and Adam's Land. And share out the stream, guys. Share it out. I know other people are live at the moment, but please make sure that we're going to have some great time here on Star Wars Saturday, May 4th. Pepper Tree Villa, welcome in, Arnie. Good to see you, pal. And let's kick things off with round 2. Rob, what is the next thing on your list?
My son brought over the lightsaber. So I think this is Ray's lightsaber.
I love the fact he's brought a prop.
Too funny, yes.
You win the award for the first time bring a prop to Disney Fiasco.
I don't have a prop, but I did actually become a real Jedi today.
Look
at that.
Yeah, so that's so cool.
Hey, Brandon, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Fantastic Ears is in the chat. Welcome, pal.
Okay, so my second pick, it's a very odd pick. And I think, like, out of the whole spectrum of things I could pick and everything. And when Force Awakenings came out, for some reason I always I love the movie. I've seen it probably 10 times. And a lot of times when I start watching stuff with kids and life and a lot of different things and everything, I wind up watching movies for maybe the first 20 minutes and I never get past that, which is kind of funny. But kind of like what Adam said, I love seeing in Force Awakens when you see Rey for the first time, when she's on the planet, you see the AT-AT walker in the sand. She is living in this barren world. And I'll tell you what, the theme, I think it's called Rey's like theme or Rey's something with in the song for the when they show her, it's Rey's whatever whatever the song they play, it's named after her and everything. I love that. What
Rey's theme.
Yeah, I guess it's just Rey's theme. Yeah. So when you see her and she's trying on the helmet and she's taking stormtroopers and using them as sunglasses, and just her whole world and that whole 15 minutes, a little bit after the intro, like right when you see her and you're right, Adam, you're and Dan, Star Wars is back, and you see that, and it just really reminded me of the first Star Wars. I think that was what they were going for actually, and I think Rey's a great character. I think she's a great actress, and I just love that. And then going into meeting BB-8, that whole segment, and then seeing the Millennium Falcon for the first time in that movie, I just love that whole time in that movie.
I think, say what you say about this sequel, trilogy right now. I think what they've done amazingly is developing characters and getting into depths with character. And there is, honestly, I would say, except for Rose in The Last Jedi, all the characters in these sequels actually have great character. Finn, I think, is a great character. Actually getting to understand what a stormtrooper is, right? We always see in the previous movies are, these dumb idiots who can't shoot anything, who are part of the Empire. But we actually get what it's like to be a stormtrooper in Finn. We get Poe, who's an arrogant pilot, and we've got Rey, who we know a lot. We kind of know some of her backstory, but there's so many questions. Who were her parents? Right. Why is she on this planet? Why is she just, living her day-to-day life in the middle of a desert, just looking for scraps in a Star Destroyer? That's exactly who she is. And I think she has got a great character. I think she is the Luke of this sequel, this big protagonist. And I've really enjoyed seeing her journey from, not wanting to leave Jakku to now becoming a Jedi. It's really quite amazing seeing her story unfold and seeing who she interacts with. Green Wizard, welcome into the stream. And
I agree with what you're saying there, Dan, as well. Like, the storytelling and what they've done is they've really cleverly sort of managed to hand over the baton from your original Star Wars characters, your Luke, your Leia, your Han Solo. They've managed to successfully kind of take the baton from them and hand them over to these new characters that we're now invested in because of the storytelling and giving them good character backgrounds, for us to kind of, as an audience, for us to care enough, so, when the franchise, the Star Wars as a whole, obviously the diehard fans were pandering to see Luke again, we're pandering to see Han Solo again, we're pandering to see Princess Leia again, and they've managed to kind of keep that element in it while also acknowledging that so much time has passed, they need to hand that baton over, and I think they've done it spectacularly. So.
Yeah, and I think what is pretty cool is that although, like you said, they've had in this new trilogy, they've had Han, they've had Leia, they've had Luke, and still with these new characters, they've still had their own stories. They've actually outshone some of the original cast, which I think is great because we know that these original characters aren't going to stick around. We needed Rey and Finn and Poe to tell their own stories. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So great choice introducing Rey, and you got R2-D2 on the screen. Awesome. Adam.
Yeah, my pick number 2 is Rob started his first pick with the start of Return of the Jedi. I'm going for the end of Return of the Jedi. I loved the thing I loved about, or the thing that kind of I really enjoyed about the original Star Wars trilogy was when the story came full circle. You know, we knew that there was this bad guy, this super bad guy, you know, which was Darth Vader, and we knew that there was this good guy that everyone was pinning their hopes on, which was obviously Luke. And then obviously as the story went on, you know, we found out that actually it was their father and son thing as well. And then it's just that kind of that final battle at the end, and it's, you know, Luke is, throughout the story, he's been, you know, questioning whether he can do this, you know, and obviously he then has to have this showdown with Darth Vader. And obviously at the end, when he finally looks like he's getting the upper hand, and then the Emperor steps in and is absolutely nailing Luke, and then obviously that's when Darth Vader, you know, the Jedi in him returns, if you like, and he saves his son, and they get to finally have that kind of that moment together, you know, when Darth takes his helmet off, and Anakin Skywalker essentially as is now, you know, an old man. But yeah, that moment, it always gives me goosebumps when they have that one little moment before, you know, before the film ends. So,
I think the whole last act of Return of the Jedi is amazing, and I think the Luke Vader interaction, this is what we've been leading for. This is the ultimate endgame showdown of the trilogy, where you see, you know, finally Vader versus Luke one more time. Everything's on the line. The Emperor is there, and it's that the saber fight is just amazing. Vader does seem to have the upper hand going into the fight, and then Luke really just starts to turn that switch as soon as Vader says that Leia may turn to the dark side and try and convince her. And then, yeah, of course, you have the Emperor actually getting involved. He's not sitting in his chair, and he is the ultimate bad guy. He is the big bad guy of everything. He's manipulating everybody.
Yeah,
and he just that whole leading up to Vader's death is just, it's very emotional, because Vader is, you know, as equally as important as Luke. So D&G Explorers, welcome into the stream. Burps are sponsored by D&G Explorers. Good to see you guys. Welcome in. And I also, I know it doesn't, does it? I also want to throw in the space battle in that scene, as in that final act as well, because in my opinion, this is the best space battle of the entire franchise, because it's just full on craziness. Like, you have the Death Star, you have like 7-8 Star Destroyers, you have the Super Star Destroyer, you have the Falcon, which is flown by Lando Calrissian, and you just have Wedge there, and them just going through the Death Star, trying to blow it all up. It's awesome. I think it's awesome. And you got Admiral Akbar, the legend, the fish-headed leader, saying it's a trap, like one of these iconic lines in Star Wars. Just as soon as he says that, like, everyone's just like, pull up, like, and then everything just blows up. The visual effects are amazing. I love the fact that all of it was pretty much models. All the ships were pretty much models, and they just took lots and lots of different angles, and it was just really, really awesome. I think this last act to Return of the Jedi, and actually, Adam, this was actually on my list. So, yeah.
Oh, sorry, dude.
No. I've got like 15, 16 other ones to choose from. So, but that's really awesome pick, Adam. The last, let's say, half an hour of Return of the Jedi is just full on amazing. Rob, what do you think of the last act of Return of the Jedi?
To me, it's just incredible. Yeah, everything you said, I'm just agreeing with everything. It was great. It was kind of sad because I knew that was that was it for a while. You know, I mean, it's just just incredible. There's just so many different little nuances and so many things in there, and you know, especially with all the movies. But you know, Return of the Jedi is my favorite out of the first four. So I love Empire. I love the first one, of course, but Return of the Jedi it has a real
Yeah.
a soft spot in my heart. So yes, definitely.
Welcome, T-Town Marianne, and welcome into the stream.
T-Town
Good to see you. Awesome. My next pick, surprisingly, I find it really weird that we keep going back to The Force Awakens, because my next pick is from The Force Awakens, similar to the start of Force Awakens, similar to introductions to Rey. I chose a scene that literally made me. I'm gonna say this right now. This scene made me cry in the trailer, and then when I saw it on the big screen, I was balls out crying. And that was when Han and Chewie get on the Millennium Falcon, and Han says, "Chewie, we're home." Because this scene is just so emotional, because although he's saying Chewie, we're home, he's almost saying, Star Wars fans, we're home. Forget the prequels, forget the Hayden Christensen's, the Jar Jar Binkses, the Count Dooku stunt doubles. Forget all that. Chewie, Star Wars fans, we're home. We're back on the Millennium Falcon with Han and Chewie. And I just was crying the whole time, because this is Star Wars. This is Han back on his ship. And it just was hands down one of my favorite parts of The Force Awakens. The Shet family, welcome into the stream. Good to see you, pal. Welcome in. But Chewie, we're home. Not only is it one of the best lines in Star Wars, because it has so much meaning for the fans, but it's a great line in Force Awakens, and it's just awesome. It's really, really awesome. Rob, what do you think of that one?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was definitely emotional when I saw that, and just to see, Chewbacca and Han Solo, it was good. It was good to see, and a lot of different things. I feel the Millennium Falcon was one of the stars of that movie, because when they're repairing it and it goes between different hands and everything. It really hit home, and it was amazing. And it was so. I was never I think that was probably my most excited, like Adam said, and you said that, that was definitely my most exciting going back into a movie. Of course, I was a kid, and like you said too, you looked at Yoda different ways and everything. I looked at Star Wars a lot differently too, as a kid and as an adult coming back to it. So yeah, definitely it tears with your emotions and everything. Definitely agree with you,
Adam.
Yeah, like you said about, obviously, when you saw that bit in the trailer, and again, likewise, I saw it in the trailer, and it was probably one of the parts of Force Awakens when it came out that I was looking forward to the most. Just that scene, seeing how they would get back on it, and when they would get back on the Millennium Falcon, and it didn't disappoint, because obviously Rey's got it, to begin with, and then she's trying to hide with Finn, and you think they've been caught by and it's gonna spell bad news, but it's not. It's suddenly it's Han and Chewie, and it's just fantastic. It is a great scene. So
awesome, guys. As we're heading into the third round, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you hit that like button, force push that like button. I'm going to use that for today. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. And please, guys, share out the stream, guys. Share it out on Twitter. Share it out on Instagram. Share it out on MySpace. Anything that you have, share it out. I don't know anybody has MySpace anymore, but just share it out, guys.
Our John has MySpace. He told us.
No, that doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah,
but yeah, share it out.
I went my modem, my phone modem, and I shared it out. So
awesome, thank you. And we're gonna head into round 3. Don't forget, after this stream, Steve's World and Mousetalk will be doing Sports Night, but they will be doing their top favorite lightsaber fights from Star Wars. Mel from Once Upon a Venture, welcome into the stream, Mel. Good to see. Mel did an awesome stream a couple of days ago. She's just doing awesome. She's having a great time in Florida, so it's good to see you, Mel. And yeah, we're gonna head into round number 3. Rob Fuzz, hit it.
I'm probably going to steal this from one of you guys, unfortunately, but how could you not be a Star Wars fan and not fall in love with the Mos Eisley Cantina scene?
Yeah.
It's incredible. I wonder if it's on your list and everything, but
Surprisingly, not on my list.
Wow, I love that scene. They're looking for, the whole Guido thing, who shot first, what Han Solo and everything, and just the band playing and the music and the like, mind exploded as you're a kid, and I don't think they made such a big deal of it at first when it first came out, but then as it grew popular, there's action figures. I was a kid too. Again, I had the cantina scene. It literally was a piece of plastic and a cardboard cutout in the back, and you just put the little different bounty hunters and all the different figures in there and everything. I love that scene. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else can I say about it? I'm sure you could do better justice to it, Dan, but it was incredible.
That scene, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Family Guy spin-off of it. It's Blue Harvest, and what they do, it's a Family Guy take on Star Wars, and they go to the cantina scene, and the cantina band are playing this on there like, and they're like, hey, we're the cantina band, we'll be here from like 9 to 5. Anybody got any recommendations? And this guy in the background goes, play the same song. All right, same song. Here we go. And it just keeps on going. It's great. So much fun. But this scene is iconic, especially in the original Star Wars. You have Han, who definitely shot first, as much as I try and annoy people by saying Greedo shot first. Han shot first, and we get the introduction to this badass character called Han Solo, this scruffy looking nerf herder who he's just cool. Like, Luke was a whiny brat at the time. Obi-Wan was the elder gentleman. There was no one who was cool who came into that movie yet, and Han Solo was that. He has his big walking carpet, Chewie, rest in peace, Peter Mayhew. This guy is just awesome, and Harrison Ford, his introduction just blew it out of the water. It was amazing. And we finally get a cool character watching Star Wars for the first time. So let's go. Zippity Doo says, going out to dinner with the wife. You see you later. Adams, Andy's Nan, and Rob Fuzz. Good to see you, Patrick. And thank you so much for stopping by. Galaxy's Edge is going to have the same music. Yes. And also they've actually released the Galaxy's Edge music on iTunes, and you can go and check that out. Wanted to pop on and say hi. Unfortunately, have some things going on at home, so I have to chat. Thank you, the Chat family, for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, now Adam, what do you think of this Cantina Band scene?
It's fantastic, and again, it's like you say, you talk about the music. They play the song again. Yeah, that is such an iconic piece of music. Now you hear that, you know exactly what it's from or which scene it's from, and I love how because that was the scene, like Rob said, where it originally wasn't kind of meant to be a big thing, but it kind of blew people's minds. That whole scene and the introduction of so many different types of characters. It's unreal, and I loved how they tried to kind of reincorporate that with in the bar scene in Force Awakens as well.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, they tried to basically redo that, and similarly again with the casino scene in The Last Jedi, when they first arrive at the casino as well. It's got that same sort of feel to it.
It
does, but it doesn't have the same magic, does it?
No, it doesn't have the same magic. It did in Force Awakens. It did in Force Awakens with the bar, I think. But yeah. So it's such an iconic scene, and like you say, it's the introduction of one of the main characters. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Awesome pick, Rob. Love it. Cantina scene, of course, has to be on the list. Adam, third pick. Where are you heading?
Third pick. Okay, this is going to be a controversial one, guys.
Oh god.
If
you say Jar Jar,
it's the introduction of Jar Jar Binks. No, I'm joking. It's
Jar Jar.
No, okay. It's actually the end of Han Solo. It's the death of Han Solo in The Force Awakens, and the reason being, for me, is for the generation that sort of grew up watching the original Star Wars trilogy. A lot of people, and Kay mentioned this. Kay Atwood mentioned this in the chat before. One of the biggest moments in Star Wars is the moment Darth Vader says, "Luke, I am your father."
Stop taking them off my list.
That kind of blew people's minds.
Stop taking them off my list.
No, but what I'm saying is, because I didn't grow up watching that particular thing. When I first watched Star Wars, people had kind of told me about it, and I already knew that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's dad. So it kind of,
Spoiler.
it was. So that wasn't that kind of shock moment to me. What was the shock moment was the moment Han Solo died, because I just didn't see it coming. And I think part of the reason I didn't see it coming was, obviously, we all know what it's like when a big film is coming out, the sort of rumors start to spread, things are potentially leaked, but maybe not. And I'd heard on the grapevine that Chewie died. So I was kind of half expected that, and I was hoping it wouldn't happen.
Too. I remember.
Yeah, I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but this was a rumor that was going around. So I was waiting for something to go wrong and Chewie to be the person that kind of took the hit. And of course, then, Han goes and steps out onto that bridge to confront Kylo Ren. And it's kind of like, I was like, what, he's very close to him right now. And it looks like he's just kind of getting through to him, that kind of father-son thing. He's getting through to him. And then he says, I know what I must do. And then bang. And I just remember sitting there in the cinema, like, he's going to come back, right? He's okay, right? And I was mind was blown. So that to me was, for me, the Luke, I am your father moment. That was the what's just happened, sort of mind blown shock. So yeah, the moment Han Solo gets killed in The Force Awakens.
I love that scene. I really honestly do. And actually Han was meant to be killed off in Return of the Jedi. But
well, he wanted to.
Harrison Ford wanted to die in Return of the Jedi, but I'm glad that he didn't. And we got this amazing scene. And I love everything about this scene, because it's not just incredible, but it's very touching. And also I love how J.J. Abrams directed it. When Han got on the bridge with Kylo, you could see on Kylo's face a kind of the light on one side and the red on the other side of his face. And then as soon as he holds out his saber and his face turns red, that the dark side has prevailed. Like, that he's too far gone. And then bam, he kills his own father. Spoiler. But I mean, no spoiler. It's been out for 4 years. You should have seen it by now. But it's a very harsh, like, it's a very deep moment. It really is, and I really do think it's a very iconic but sad scene. And I'm gonna put it out there. This makes Kylo Ren even more of an amazing villain. If you take both Episode 4, not including 5 or 6, and Episode 7, and you look at Vader and you look at Kylo, I would say Kylo has more of a compelling character, because although Vader was cool in Episode 4, like, he killed Obi-Wan, we didn't really know anything about him. He really became much more compelling in Empire, where he was telling Luke about, him being his father, and really just trying to, be, in contact with Luke. But I think Kylo, straight off the bat, knowing that he's the son of Han Solo and then killing him, he's a much more compelling character. Alyssa Sisters, welcome into the stream. I got your name right on the second try. Great to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. And Rob is playing with his toys. But you're absolutely right, Adam. It is a great scene. Yeah. And definitely the big shock moment of the movie.
It was, yeah. What you were just saying there about Kylo's character as well. I love that it's kind of almost a flip for what you see in the prequel movies with, in Revenge of the Sith, when you can see Anakin Skywalker and the confliction that he has going on all of the time. Before he finally turns and sort of. He's kind of he still wants to do the right thing, but he's starting to kind of listen to the Emperor more, and I see that the complete sort of role reversal in Kylo. Like, obviously he is the dark side, but he's still, the way he kind of wants to be with Rey, kind of, the closeness that he has with Rey all the time. I think it's quite interesting. I think there's slight conflicts for him there, but it's interesting watching him kind of battle with that, and and try to keep a grip of himself.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome pick. As we're wrapping up, my last pick. Look, this is this. I had to choose this, and this is just. I'm gonna loop it together. It's the trench run and the final scene in the original Star Wars. I mean, how can you not finish a Star Wars show on May the 4th without talking about the original ending of Star Wars, the trench run? This is one of the most exciting scenes, I think, in any movie. There are very few movies out there in the world that I think are perfect. And I think A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, in my opinion, are perfect movies. And the ending of A New Hope is perfect. You have everybody going to attack in these tiny ships, going up against this massive, indestructible Death Star. And you see all of his Luke's like fellow pilots being destroyed. And it's down to him, his best friend from Tatooine, and Wedge. They hit the trench run, and Vader's chasing them behind them. And you got such amazing lines in this. You got Luke, you turned off your targeting computer. What's wrong? Nothing. I'm all right. Like, the tension is there. You have Obi-Wan saying, Luke, the Force will be with you always. Like, it's just you know that he's connected to, the Force. You have Darth Vader saying, the Force is strong with this one. Like, knowing that he's going to be an issue in the next couple of films is kind of setting up. And then you have Han come in and saying one of my favorite lines, like Han says, "Kid, blow this thing and go home," or something like that. Let's blow this thing and go home. Like, no, you're all clear, kid. Let's blow this thing and go home. And then you get it. He shoots the torpedoes into the targeting hole thingy, blows up the Death Star. You get that final shot with the X-Wings and the Millennium Falcon flying away, and then boom. Like, it's just, everything was just tense. And then there's that big explosion, that big climax of the final act. And then you have this beautiful final scene where you see Han, Luke, and Chewie walking down to the aisle with amazing score, amazing score. And I'm singing it in my head right now. And they get given the medal scene. It just is a wonderful ending to a brilliant movie. Eye to Eye, thank you so much. They will also be streaming at 8 p.m. Eastern, and I'll jump in as well. Thank you so much, Kyle, for that, and have a good rest of your Star Wars day. But yeah, ending of A New Hope is just a fantastic ending of a movie. Just the tension.
It's like they're on a ride, like that whole chase scene and everything. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. And
the seat, the edge of your seat.
And yeah, it never ever gets old. Ever. I could watch it every single day of my life and just get captivated by all of this. So all of the ending of A New Hope. Adam, what do you think of this ending?
Love it. Yeah, a great pick. It's just, you think about as well when this movie was actually made, and you think about what you're seeing on the screen, and it was light years ahead of its time, and just one of the most interesting kind of aerial battles that that you could ever bear witness to, especially given when it was made, like I say. So yeah, I love that whole scene. The fact that the mission seems to become more and more perilous as they go on, and you're waiting for the snap. You're waiting for something to go right, and obviously, just the way it all comes together at the end. Love it. When the Millennium Falcon suddenly comes flying back in, and Han comes back in, and yeah, it's amazing. So
yeah, and I think we can all agree that this movie was a revolutionary movie of cinema, because there was nothing of its time like this.
Jaws, maybe that was about it.
Yeah, Jaws, but then that kind of it got blown out of the water, but figuratively, Jaws got blown out of the water by Star Wars.
Between then and now, all the movies that came out, all the sequels, all the Raiders, all the George Lucas, all the Spielberg movies, all the the action hero movies and everything. There was nothing when I was a kid. Like, you were just like my mind was blown. And as a kid, and just, I know you guys, I'm a lot older than you guys, but there was nothing there, nothing. You've seen all this stuff, and you guys were introduced to it later. But seeing it as a kid, being blown away for the first time, I wore the T-shirts, I had the toys, I have all the different like, it was just a huge blitz, and that was the first. It was unbelievable. You're right.
Awesome.
I'm sitting here smiling when you guys are talking about it. So.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And as we're wrapping up, we're going to go back through our lists. So go through your top 3, and then as many honorable mentions as you have on your list, and then we'll wrap up. So Rob Fuzz, my man, what is your list?
Yeah, my list was the first, 20 minutes of Return of the Jedi with, all the different cool stuff. Luke, you summed it up so good, Dan. I love the way you summed it up. I loved it as a kid and everything.
Nice.
Rey's first appearance in Force Awakenings, how you see her on the planet and see she's eating her rations and she's scratching the numbers, how many days she was on the planet. And it just, and the theme and everything, which is amazing. And then my third pick was the cantina scene. It's just a catchy theme. Yeah. Great. You see all these aliens playing music and everything. It was just, it's incredible. And my honorable mention list here, I could have 50 honorable mentions, but you know what too? And I just went to see Endgame today, if you guys know. And I saw the trailer for The Rise of Skywalker late.
Yeah.
And Dan goes, wait till you see it in the theater.
Yeah.
You'll be even blown more away.
It's
and
amazing.
I can't wait for The Rise of, we got to mention that, The Rise of Skywalker. I saw the trailer in the theater today.
So good.
I'm so blown. But I have to mention that. I was blown away by
that scene where she flips over the TIE fighter on the big screen is just it's great on a laptop, but on a movie theater, it's a whole different ball game.
The bit that gives me the goosebumps and shivers though is when you hear Luke say, after all, none of us are really gone. And then you get the Emperor's laugh as well, and it's just like,
can't wait.
Oh my god! And that, even thinking about it now, I'm not watching it right this second, but I've got the tingles going down my spine thinking about that. So what does that mean? Like, for Luke to say that and then they hear that, and it's just like, I can't wait to see what unfolds. Yeah.
As we're very short on time, Rob, was there any more?
I'm going to rattle them off real quick. I'm not going to really talk about it, but come on, George Lucas alone, unbelievable.
Yeah.
John Williams alone. Yeah, unbelievable. Yep. I love all his scores, all that stuff. The credit crawl in every movie with the music and you see it and everything.
Yeah.
And the first movie too, when they do the metal thing, and then boom, and the wipes and the different pans and everything, and then they go into dan, and then you're so pumped and everything. It's just so incredible. I have the Battle of Hoth from Empire Strikes Back. When I was a kid, I used to emulate when it's a snowstorm. I used to pretend like I was on Hoth, and I would, when we get back in the days, we get like 6-7 feet of snow. I would cut trenches and pretend I was on the Battle of Hoth. Whenever they say "May the Force be with you," come on, how could you not mention that on May the 4th? May the Force be with you. That was always a pivotal moment in every movie. It's incredible. Come on, you said it before. Luke, I am your father. Classic theme. And then I just put aliens, droids, and bounty hunters. Come on, they were awesome. All the different characters, uniqueness. There's encyclopedias on it. Unbelievable. Love Star Wars.
Awesome list, Rob. Absolutely love it. Adam.
Okay, so my top 3 were the start of The Force Awakens. Just the feeling I got when that movie came out. That was the most pumped I'd been for a Star Wars film.
Nice.
Ever. So yeah, just that feeling when I sat down in the cinema and the film started, just mental. The feeling, I can't describe the feeling. It was I just remember having this ridiculous smile on my face, and I was just in one of the happiest moments I've been in a cinema ever, I think. For me, the end of Return of the Jedi, that whole last act, and seeing the original sort of trilogy story come full circle, and sort of seeing Luke sort of get to, I want to say reunite, but they'd never really had that kind of bond, because obviously we learn the story in the prequels of from birth, obviously the Anakin or Darth Vader, doesn't really, get to meet his children, but yeah, the kind of the rekindling, relationship of Luke and Darth Vader,
Nice.
and then the shock of Han Solo's death
Nice.
in Force Awakens. That was that Luke, I am your father moment for me. It was just like, oh my god, what's just happened? So yeah, that my honorable mentions. Jar Jar Binks. No, I'm joking. My
Don't
honorable
even
mentions.
think about it.
Yeah, my honorable mentions are the fight scenes in the Phantom Menace with Darth Maul.
Yep, Duel of Fates.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, they were great, and yeah, probably the standout moments of that. That opening, episode 1 movie in the prequels. The only moment that I particularly enjoy in Clone Wars is the moment when, in that big kind of arena, and all of the Jedi come out, from the crowd. And I know it's like we were talking about, like the CGI before, and how the fans didn't really enjoy the CGI of the, heavy prequels. But the one bit of CGI I love is when the camera pans out as a really wide shot and you just see lightsabers everywhere of different colors. Just, that whole, it's just like, yes, this is fantastic, So yeah, so I do that for me is very aesthetically pleasing. In The Last Jedi, when Kylo Ren says, "Concentrate all of your fire on Luke Skywalker."
Yeah,
and the brilliant bit of comedy, the fantastic bit of comedy where it's just hell is unleashed on him for what's
blow that piece of junk out of the sky,
and then he just kind of stops and he goes,
yeah,
it was great.
Great moment.
And my last honorable mention, I've kept it down to 4, is Rogue One. Rogue One overall, it's funny because that film didn't have the crawling credits at the beginning, and I remember sat there thinking, to begin with, I was like, am I watching a poor man's Star Wars? It's like a Star Wars B movie, but I thought it bridged the gap between Revenge of the Sith and going into A New Hope fantastically. It kind of it answered the, because I remember like there was a lot kind of made of the whole, they just happen to have the plans of the Death Star to know where this button is to aim for, but it was kind of, it tied up that story nicely. And the fact that you get to see done through the CGI and everything, you get to see a young Carrie Fisher again in it, as Princess Leia. And you get to see Darth Vader in it. As the film went on, I just loved it more and more. And so just Rogue One overall, I think is it's obviously it's not part of the main saga, but for me it's a fantastic bridge of part of the story, and it's well worth watching. If you're going to watch the movies in chronological order, include Rogue One.
Awesome. Love it. Love your list. Really, really awesome. And I'll save my thoughts on Rogue One for another day. I'm going to wrap this up all in 2 minutes and do my list and do my plus, because in 2 minutes time, everyone is going to head over to my friends Walt and Melissa for Mouse Talk, where they're going to be talking Sports Night with Steve's World. Okay. My list went like this. Everything with Yoda for Empire Strikes Back. Everything with Yoda was really, really awesome. So that was my number 1. Number 2 was Chewie, We're Home from The Force Awakens. Number 3 was my Endor battle, which I wanted to, but Adam already took it. Then I chose the Trench Run from A New Hope. And then honorable mentions I had the opening to A New Hope, the battle in Snoke's throne room from The Last Jedi, Luke, I am your father, I love you, I know. Rey finds Luke at the end of The Force Awakens. Vader just slicing and dicing rebels at the end of Rogue One, I think is a badass scene. And Palpatine and Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, where they talk about Darth Plagueis, I think is a brilliant, brilliant scene, as well as the Battle of Hoth from The Empire Strikes Back. Guys, episode 50 is in the books, guys. This is one amazing, amazing stream. Thank you so, so much for everybody who joined us. Episode 51 next week technically would have been our 1 year anniversary, because we started a year ago next week. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Episode 51 will be next week. super exciting. But thank you everybody who joined us for episode 50. Please head over to Mouse Talk straight after this stream. Big thank you firstly to Adam's Land. Adam has a really great channel, and subscribe to his daughter's channel, Ebony's Little Channel. Just great friends of the channel, and just an awesome guy. Thank you so much, Adam. And Rob Fuzz, my man, my power channel as well. Great to see you. Thank you so much for Pub Talk and this community and all your support. It's just amazing. If you haven't checked out Rob Fuzz's channel, please go check it out. It's really just wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody in the chat. I normally go through the chat and say thank you to everybody, but we're really short on time. But I just want to say thank you to everybody. Have an amazing May the 4th. Please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at DisneyDan. And guys, May the 4th be with you. Live your life with a smile each and every day. And I'll see you guys all real soon. Head over to Mouse Talk and we'll see you all there. Take care, guys.
Take care, bro.